It's 2:30 a.m. in a quiet suburban neighborhood. Renisha McBride had no idea what awaited her that night. But one wrong turn, one decision, would lead to a terrifying, irreversible consequence. A single moment, and everything changed. Behind that door, someone waits. But is it fear that's lurking? Or something much more dangerous? Was it a simple mistake? Or something darker, more deliberate? One shot, that's all it took. But why? What happened in those final seconds? And why did one man's fear cost a young woman her life? Was it self-defense? Or was this something much worse? Stick with us, because what happens next will leave you questioning everything. This is the case of Renisha McBride, a case that ignited a national conversation about race, justice, and the haunting question of who truly holds the right to defend their home. Renisha McBride was more than just a name in a news headline. She was a daughter, a friend. She was known for her infectious smile and her love for life. But on that night, her dreams would be cut short in a way that would leave a community reeling. On November 2nd, 2013, Renisha was involved in a car accident around 1 a.m. confused and disoriented. She stumbled away from her wrecked vehicle, seeking help. She approached the home of Theodore Wafer, a 54-year-old man who lived alone. What happened next would change everything. Renisha knocked on Wafer's door, desperate for assistance. But instead of compassion, she was met with fear. Wafer, hearing the commotion outside, felt threatened. In a moment of panic, he grabbed his shotgun, believing he was defending his home. As Renisha stood on his porch, she had no idea that her plea for help would be met with a deadly response. In a split second, everything changed. Wafer fired his shotgun through the locked screen door, striking Renisha in the face. She collapsed on the porch, her life slipping away in an instant. The police arrived to find a scene of chaos. Renisha was pronounced dead at the hospital, and the community was left in shock. How could this happen? A young woman seeking help had lost her life in a moment of fear and misunderstanding. As news of the shooting spread, the community reacted with outrage and sorrow. Questions arose about the circumstances surrounding Renisha's death. Was it self-defense, or was it a tragic overreaction? The investigation began, with police collecting evidence and interviewing witnesses. The media descended upon Dearborn Heights, amplifying the story and shaping public perception. As the narrative unfolded, it became clear that this case was about more than just a shooting. It was about race, fear, and the complexities of self-defense laws in America. The trial of Theodore Wafer began in June 2014, drawing national attention. The courtroom was a battleground of emotions, with each side presenting their case. Prosecutors argued that Wafer had acted recklessly, while the defense claimed he was merely protecting his home. Renisha's family sat in the courtroom, grappling with their grief as they listened to the details of her final moments. The trial became a reflection of the broader societal issues at play, with discussions about race and gun rights taking center stage. As the trial progressed, public outcry grew. Activists rallied for justice, demanding accountability for Renisha's death. Social media became a powerful tool for mobilization, with hashtags trending and voices rising in solidarity. This is about more than just one case. It's about the systemic issues that lead to tragedies like this. The protests highlighted the community's pain and anger, as people from all walks of life came together to demand change. On August 7, 2014, the jury delivered their verdict, guilty of second-degree murder. The courtroom erupted in mixed reactions, relief for some, heartbreak for others. The implications of the verdict were profound. It sent a message about the consequences of fear-driven actions and the need for accountability in cases of gun violence. In the aftermath, the Renisha McBride case became a catalyst for change. It sparked conversations about gun laws, racial profiling, and the need for better community relations. Activists and community leaders worked tirelessly to ensure that Renisha's legacy would not be forgotten. Community leader: we must honor Renisha's memory by advocating for justice and change in our communities. As we reflect on the tragic events surrounding Renisha McBride's death, we are left with haunting questions about race, justice, and the safety of our communities. Her story is a reminder of the work that still needs to be done to ensure that no one else suffers the same fate. Let us honor Renish's memory by continuing the conversation, advocating for change, and striving for a world where everyone feels safe and valued. Together, we can make a difference.
The Rhodes Memorial stands imposingly against the darkened sky, its stone columns towering above the desolate landscape. The moon barely breaks through the heavy clouds, casting fleeting shadows across the aged, weathered stonework. An unsettling silence pervades the scene, only broken by the occasional rustling of the leaves. Sarah, young journalist, stands at the foot of the memorial, her breath visible in the cold air. She clutches her notebook tightly, her wide eyes scanning the monument as she takes a few cautious steps forward. She has come to investigate the dark rumors surrounding this place. Rumors of a curse tied to its creation and the ghost of Cecil John Rhodes that is said to haunt it. Sarah, opening parenthesis, they say it's haunted, cursed. I have to see for myself. She takes another step, but as her foot hits the ground, there's a sudden sound, a creak, followed by a low groan, as if the monument itself is alive. Sarah, opening parenthesis, what was that? She pauses for a moment, heart racing. No movement, no one around. She shakes her head and continues walking, determined to uncover the truth. Her footsteps echo against the stone, growing louder in the silence. Sarah, opening parenthesis, it's just a monument, just a piece of history. But as she reaches the top of the stairs, she stops, her breath catching in her throat. A faint figure, barely visible, seems to move in the shadows near the base of the memorial. Her heart pounds,